Welcome, welcome to ShadowMeTarot. We have a new deck, like always. And, well, not like always. Sometimes I do readings on here. My new thing that I'm noticing is my viewers are liking when I read the decks, like the books for the different tarot decks. So I'm going to try and do some of that. So if you guys have any suggestions as to which decks you want to read the books read so that you don't have to read them yourself, you can listen to them in the car, definitely comment below. And since we're on it, please like, subscribe, and share. Alright, there we go. This is a big box. This is only supposed to be a tarot deck. Let's see what we got here. It's a big box. And I got this from Tarot Arts. So I've got a nice signature on here from probably the owner. Big box. All right. And a little thingy there. All right, cool. So it's well packaged from Tarot Arts. What do we have? What do we have? I like the red, the crimson of that bag, right? I'm finding myself using bags more and more because, ooh, Egyptian tarot. Oh. Yeah. All right, that's all the Egyptian music we get. I'm not very musical. I'm pretty sure this is an indie deck. And I'm pretty sure this is actually cut in such a way that I could probably peel it open. There you go. Look at all those beautiful Egyptian symbols. I do kind of like that. All right, let's see. Nice box so far. Nice box. And we have finished book, full color though, magazine quality pages. Oh, what is this? All right, so this is a Sola Busca tarot video course of Hermetic Wisdom. You can buy that, and it says, it looks like Moose Gothorium. Dear friend, here something up to you, following a path of 1,000 years. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna zoom in on this so you guys can read it yourselves, because like some of it doesn't make sense. Here something up to you, following a path of 1,000 years, a shred of the wisdom of the ancient Egyptians gathered from the little luminous mind of Aaz, Renee Schwaller, something Lubicz, and transferred into the something of this deck, this Egyptian tarot. I hope you will find the answers to all your questions. All the best. Giordano Berti. And then he's got some Egyptian symbols. And I want to say that it looks handwritten. And I'll bet it is the first time it was, before it was printed. But that's still pretty cool. I can dig it. Our kids are never going to be able to read something like that. Not ever. Because they're not teaching cursive anymore. So they're not going to be able to read anything. Interesting. Okay, so there's some historical stuff in here. And then we get into the card meanings. Let's see if we've got any. Oh, and this has got all of his, this must be all of his different works. So Busca Tarot, Metelli Tarot, Tarot of Marcel, Tarot of Bascon, Organo, Martial, Oriental, Corband, Perrin, Papas. I feel like I got the best one. Egyptian Tarot, Prophetic Tarot of the Bible, Venice Tarot, True Paths of Angels, Pan Sophia Mundi Tarot. I'm just looking because, like, these are all, like, you know, decks to add to the collection. But I feel like this is the only one I would be interested in, to be honest with you. I'm finding I like more of the newer stuff. I really like the art. Whoa, what is this? So this is a life symbol. And I bet the deck tells me what the symbol means. But that is a really thick card, like almost like a blessing card to put on my altar here. I'm like, I love this. I am putting this here. I'm like, I've got to put it up right now. All right, we'll just put it right there for now. Oh my God, that's cool. Okay, now we got a gold bag for these cards. And this does not feel like 78 cards. I am super worried. No way. This must be only this is the Art Box edition. It's number 212 out of 986. So this is a limited edition. Heck yeah. And this has got, it goes 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, and then 21. Oh, this is completely different than what I was expecting. This is completely different than what I was expecting. All right, so let's read a little bit more about how this deck works. I was under the impression that it was like I don't know, like a regular writer deck kind of thing. I wonder if that is handwritten, although I can't imagine him writing that handwritten for 900 people, almost 1,000 people. All right, so let's take a quick look here. All right, so the first 30 pages is a biography on Schwaller de Lubicz. But I do want to read this part where it says, the Arcana of the Temple of Man, which is basically this deck. The Egyptian Tarot deck of Schwaller de Lubicz is composed of 25 cards, or laminas, to use a term dear to the initiates of the cartomantic art. These laminas express the paths of knowledge and the wisdom revealed by the master to his faithful disciples, who transpose them into beautiful figures, originally in black and white. Actually, the images, although they seem far from our modern culture, express universal concepts that belong to the humanity of every time and place. This is why I love to define this tarot deck as Arcana of the Temple of Man, by paraphrasing the title of Schwaller's work, where the master described the Temple of Luxor as a representation of the human being in which all the laws governing the universe are inscribed. These laminas can be used to answer any questions. However, to get into their philosophy, a first approach to this deck is essential. The following simple indications will be useful when you start using it in divinatory readings. Take the deck and observe it carefully. You can see that 21 laminas are numbered from 0 to 20. They represent the primary powers to which all human beings are subjected. There are also 4 unnumbered laminas: El Exchange, El Amor, which means exchange, l'amour, love, combat means combat, la science means sciences. Wow. These laminas are connected to the 4 elements. As we will see, they are in a certain sense the witnesses of the topic that the consultant asks to be clarified. Sorry. To the original deck, we added 2 talisman. These are also not numbered, the Ankh and the Wajet. The Ankh, also called the Ansara cross, an ancient Egypt is a symbol of life, commonly represented in the hands of various deities, but is considered a more specific attribute of the goddess of Isis. As one will see, the Ankh has a role of the guardian of reading, so that during divinatory experiences, it guarantees criteria of truth and justice. The Wadjet, or the Eye of Horus, represents the sun, or the light that brightens the material world and symbolically brings clarity to human thoughts. This amulet was widespread in the Egyptian civilizations as an emblem of regeneration. It was placed inside the bandages that wrapped the body of the deceased, but is also depicted with various functions on reliefs, engravings, and papyruses. The Wadjet will have the role of the guardian of the site in the course of a divinatory experience, so that the diviner expresses himself with clarity and foresight. Before entering into the specifics of divination, it is worthwhile to know that the laminists and their divinatory meanings, since they will become our trusted oracle. In the descriptions that follow, I have given some references to Egyptian mythology and religion, but without going too far, just to provide a more complete understanding of the icons. The most diligent pupils will have the task of investigating the issues presented from a mythological and religious point of view, and also from a divinatory perspective. Okay, so he does name it the Fool, and I'm just going to pull up 0 because they put him in the front. Okay, Lefou. Lefou. And we'll just kind of compare him to the Rider-Waite. There's actually some Rider-Waite stuff here. Okay, so the first thing that I notice about the Fool is when this one's in French, it says instinct as the definition for this, but every Fool card, and I don't want to say every Fool card because that wouldn't be like, I don't know every tarot deck out there, but I just checked the Thoth Tarot, the Hermetic Tarot, the Rider-Waite Tarot, and now this Egyptian version of the tarot. All of the versions of the tarot depict the Fool as having a companion animal, and a bag. So just kind of saying, you can even see the cliff kind of represented here. So most of these guys were all part of like the same Rosicrucian, Hermetic kind of secret society, and then they all came up with their own deck. So I just find it interesting that the similarities between the different authors of our origin decks, basically. All right, so we've got the Lefou, and this is the back of the card. It's a very thin card. It's like almost like a cardboard paper. It's longer than, oops, let's see if I can do it this way. It's longer than the tarot. This is just a standard kind of tarot. And thinner. So longer and thinner. The Magician, and in this one it's I can't speak French. Sanses. This one means will. This is fertility. Which is interesting that they're using. That is so weird, because I associate fertility with 3, with the Empress, right? We've got this crocodile symbolism here, which you'll find in the Thoth Tarot. But this says fertility. And number 2 is the High Priestess. But here it says number 3, La Vie, is illumination. And I'm like, I would think the High Priestess is more illumination than the number 3 here. So if anybody watching is as confused as I am at the moment, actually, why don't we find out from the book? Let's find out. All right, so we're gonna go to what I know as the High Priestess. Okay, so this one in the book, I'm just gonna put these back out here. In the book, this just says the Fool. This says, in English, it says the Powers, and on the card itself it says will. This one, on the card it says fertility, but it means nature, which again is so Empress. To me, that's Empress. At the center of Laminate 2, above the altar, there is a god Sebek, or Sobek, or rather Suka Sebek Hotep, lord of waters and fishes. According to Egyptian mythology, the Nile comes from his sweat. He makes the grasses green. There's a lot of sight stuff in here, like sighted stuff. So there's like all these parentheses and stuff. But it says the Nile comes from his sweat. He makes the grass green. From the pyramid text. In fact, the flood festival dedicated to the renewed fertility of the Nile was dedicated to Sebek. The uraeus on his neck indicates regality. The sacred hieroglyphics that can be observed on the hand opposite the altar are the greetings to the pharaoh: Ankh Wajet Seneb, life, prosperity, health. Well, that's cool that they give you the words that are on the, and here's La Nature right here on the card. Above, to the right of the winged ram. The winged ram. Neither one of them looks like a ram, but that one has the high priestess thing there. And I always kind of associate that kind of image as a ram. The body of a snake. So that's this guy here. Denotes radiance and fertility, the ram being connected to god Ammon. The feathered rod has the symbol Hihu, the perennial life cycle of nature or eternity. On the left, as Lady of Magic, winged Isis holds her right hand, the magical pastoral Hika crook. The great goddess sorceress holds the symbol of truth in her left hand. Reference: person of great experience and wisdom, able to act in a covert manner to aid those that seek his protection, capable of erotic seduction. Divinatory meanings are positive or in the upright. Fecundity, 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 fertilization, seduction, secret action, interesting but risky proposals, overcoming difficulties with dark actions, healing. Negative is sterility, indecision, inconclusiveness, liabilities, laziness, introversion, prejudices, phobias, repressed eroticism. So that is a lot of information. Wow, I'm definitely going to get some Egyptian symbol training from this deck for sure. Okay. So I don't feel like this is following the Rider Waite, but we're still going to flip the cards because it's just the major arcana anyways. And there are some similarities. And like I said, all these guys kind of come from the same secret society and they all just made their own deck. Okay, so after fertility or nature, then we move into La Vie, illumination. And I'm just going to read the La Vie means life. Since I don't know French. So to say 3 is life here. 4 is, on the card it says, I can't read French, but in the book it says balance. In English this means balance. There's lots of balance within this, right? They're showing all different types of balance in that card. And then it says harmony. Then the next one is 5. It is stability. It means necessity, but here it says stability. And I'm just realizing in the reverse it has keywords as well, which in this one it's tyranny. If we go back for the 4, which would be emperor, be imbalance, so balance in the, or harmony and balance versus imbalance. And then let's see, we've got the 3 was ignorance instead of illumination, so it's almost complete opposite. So if we're looking for a place for complete opposites, for the reversal, it might be from this Lubicz guy, Schwaller de Lubicz. So this one is sterility for number 2 versus fertility. And this one is arrogance versus will. for the Magician, or number 1. And then the Fool in the reverse is Madness. Makes sense. All right. So number 5, Stability in the reverse, Tyranny. Number 6 is, I want to say it's Desire. It's Desire. I can't tell French, but that looks like Desire to me. I don't know French. Okay, so this one is Desire. In the upright, it's Choice. In the reverse, it is, what is it in the reverse? Oh, Temptation. So Choice or Temptation. Then we have, I think this is Victory for number 7, is the Chariot, right? And it says Ambition. I'm digging this deck. I really am. And then in the reverse, it would be Misgovernment. So this is a Victory card for the Chariot. It means ambition, so I'm definitely going to look at the Chariot now as ambition. I'm going to just kind of add that to my repertoire, because Victory sometimes is like, okay, you're going to have a win, but on what? And so ambition seems like, I don't know, just a nice definition to use for the Chariot. Okay, moving on. Number 8 is, in this one, it is Justice. So we are going, so they're switching these. And some decks do this. Some decks will have number 8 as Justice and Strength as number 11. So just like the Justice card here, it's Equity. And in the reverse, it would be Injustice. 9, our Hermit. And he is Truth. And in the upright, it's Austerity, and in the reverse, it is Confusion. 10, our Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of the Sphinx is this one, and it means cycles or cyclicity. And in the reverse, it is Waiting. Interesting. So, in this deck, very much a movement card, right? In the reverse, you're waiting. Interesting. I like this deck. I'll probably use this. I've got too many decks to use them all, but I might use this one for a minute. So this one is Strength, or number 11 in this deck is the Strength card. It means courage, and in the reverse, it's what did I say? Unsuitability? Yeah. So maybe they're unsuitable to the task. And it also says inadaptation. But that might be another word. Unsuitability and inadaptation for Strength. So they can't change. 12, the Hanged Man. And in this deck, it is the Enigma. And in the upright, it is Altruism. And in the reverse, it is Discouragement. And number 13, our Death card, the Fatal Cycle, is what this is. And it says Transformation. And in the reverse, it means Stagnation. And for and this was the Death card in both decks, just saying. All right, and so now we get to number 14. This is the Enigma's Knot, and it means regeneration. And in the reverse, it means fatigue. And let's see, 15 is the Devil. And in this deck, it is Typhon. And in the upright, it means magnetism. And in the reverse, it means greed. And then we have the Tower. And in this, it's called the Fall. And it means subsidence. And in the reverse, it means failure. And number 17 is the Star. It means, but this one it's destiny. And it means hope. And in the reverse, it means fatalism. All right. So in the upright, the Star is hope, and in the reverse, it is fatalism. And then we've got the Moon for imagination in the upright, and in the reverse, it is air. And in this deck, they call this the boat without the navigator. All right, number 19 is the Sun, and it means happiness in the upright. And in the reverse, it means dissatisfaction. And in this deck, it is called the Solar Crown. And then 20 is Triumph, which is the Judgment card. And here it says success. And in the reverse, it would be disorientation. Yep, disorientation. All right. And then we get into the Four Witnesses. So there is no world card in here. There is no world card, so we're done with that. This gets into the Four Witnesses. And the Four Witnesses are love. And it's basically feelings. Its element is water. It's an emotional situation. Love, family, friendships, emotions, sexuality, spirituality. And then they have, oh, this is interesting. And then they have combat, which is the fire element. So this is very much like wands. So cups, I would say, this is like cups, feelings. Wands is combat. Element is fire. And the only reason I say wands is because they share the same element of fire. But this means conflict situation, quarrels, contention, lawsuits, social relations, psychic tensions. And I would say those meanings have a cross between like the Rider-Waite kind of air or the swords, right? There's definitely some crossover. Even though this is fire and not air, there's some crossover definitions, I feel like, between wands and swords in this deck, or fire and air. At least from traditional Rider-Waite. I've seen this in other decks as well, where they kind of mix up some of the attributes of fire and air. And I don't want to say that they mix up, because there is no wrong in tarot reading. But, I don't know, for those of us who use multiple decks, sometimes get a little wonky in your interpretation. All right, so the next one is the Exchange, which is economy. This is Pentacles or Earth element. Its element is Earth. It's economic situation, business in general, commercial exchanges, investments, heredity, and gifts. And then the last one is Science, which is the air. And this one is work condition, career, projects, creativity, inventions, research, discoveries. So I just find it interesting, kind of like some of the crossovers between combat and science in these kind of definitions for this deck, in comparison to like wands or swords in a traditional Rider-Waite. All right, so I think that pretty much is concludes this deck. This is the Wadjet Eye of Horus. I bring you the Eye of Horus so that your heart may be refreshed by it. Take the efflux that comes out of you, that your heart cannot be so tired. Take it. The voice came out for you. And then this, the prayer for this one. Hail, O Prince of Light, who you illuminate the abode of darkness. Grant my mouth the powers of words, that in the hour when night and darkness mist reigns, I can direct my heart. It's from the Book of the Dead. So this is, it's got a purification prayer here for the deck. They have a few different readings here. So method of the arrow, current situation, what can facilitate the fulfillment of the consultant's wishes, negative situations, or people who oppose realizations of those desires. So method of the three truths. What else have we got here? So it's interesting. A lot of history in this book. This is super cerebral. I'll be honest, like, I'm going to use these cards. They speak to me, but, like, it's going to be a chore for me to read this because there's so many parentheses and periods. I'll read it, though. Eventually I'll get there. But I do like the deck. Definitely. All right, so let's kind of take some, let's kind of pull back a little bit here and kind of like look at the card stock. So this almost feels like cardboard. I'm almost afraid to shuffle these, but they're somewhat flexible. They're very thick. Like if it was an entire deck of these cards, it has very soft edges. I do feel like this is like a collector deck, but I'm like, should I use the deck? It's super flexible. Like, super flexible. And it's almost too thin. Oh, I like the way it sounds when it shuffles. Yeah. Alright, but I just bent a card in shuffling. I don't like that. I'm on the fence. I don't know that this was worth $90, to be honest with you. I'm like, I don't feel like it was worth $90. But I haven't gotten into it very much. Let's just pull out, bounce out sentiments, feelings, economy, and the Typhon, or the devil in the reverse, is greed, right? Yeah, I would agree. I feel like the cards are absolutely too much money. And he's a greedy bastard for these paper cards. I don't know. I'm like, I almost wish there's a better card stock, but the feel of them is nice. They're just kind of like bendy. I almost wish there was more cards. But what I am excited about is learning about the different symbolism, and I do feel like there's a lot of research put into this. So it's definitely a valuable deck in terms of the information that it's going to provide, at least in getting me learning, you know, in the beginning stages of learning kind of Egyptian symbolism. So I hope you enjoyed this deck. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, and share. If you didn't like it, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for sticking it out to the end. You're awesome. But yeah, this is the Egyptian tarot, Schwaller de Lubicz. So I usually try to get at least, you know, if it's new and I haven't seen it before, I try to get at least a version of it. So I do like the version of this. And I am looking forward to trying it out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed day.